Welcome back to another RPG Maker Unite tutorial. Today we're going to talk about pictures. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, so here we are in a project, and I've clicked on this event, and now we'll come down here to where we can add new events. Then on this second page here, you can see we have some options for pictures. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show a picture. Alright, so over here in the options we have the numbers. This is what the ID number basically of the picture that you're showing is. And this is going to be the same for that image. So you're going to want to keep track of what ID number you're giving it so that you can change other things when we get to things like moving the image, rotating, tinting, and removing, right? It's all going to be based off the number that you give it. So you can only have one image with one number. The second thing that this number does is it is the display priority of the picture. So the higher the number, the more priority it will have displaying over other pictures if you have multiple. Now there is an event, common event execute here, where you can select a common event and it's supposed to execute a common event when you show this picture. Then there is also this transparent areas are recognized as a click decision. So it has something to do with the click areas. I couldn't quite see what the difference was. So if you actually know, please comment below. Everything seemed to work the same whether I had this ticked or not. But moving on, we can see that we can select an image or we can import. One thing I do like about Unite is that it actually is really nice that you can just import from anywhere and then it's in your project. I don't feel like I have to go search for things through this file very much as far as adding. And so it's pretty nice that I don't have to keep going to the resources to keep adding things. It's just I can import them from right where I need them. All right, so here we go. We're just going to show her. Now we have this origin, which is top left by default. So if we play this right here, we can see that if we go and show this, it will display just like this, all right? So it's showing from the top left corner of the screen. So if we go back to this event and we click on the center and we play test on this and go back there, you can see that it will be the center of the image. So keep that in mind. It seems like for these kind of setups, you most likely are going to want to do top left, but you also could do center and then actually set an X, Y directly, all right? You can also set them with variables as well. So if we wanted to just say, I think a screen is 9, 19, 20. Let's divide that by 2, and then it's 1080 and divide that by 2. And then let's put that in center, and let's see what happens here. You can see it just shows in the center of the screen. So this image is obviously cut off. That's why it looked kind of a little weird when it was in the top left. All right, so that is with the position. That's really nice. And we can also scale it too. That's pretty obvious. You could make it smaller if you wanted. And then the blend they have right here. This is where you can adjust opacity and then you can select a blend mode. So you could additive. And then if we did this, it should be showing a little brighter if I understand additive right. Yeah, it's a kind of brighter and transparent. And that's really it as far as the options that you have to show an image. Now, the next thing that we can do is we can say that we want to move a picture, all right? So what we'll do is we'll grab this one that we're going to make, which is one. And by the way, whenever you set one, this will populate with pictures that you have in your project. So it's kind of interesting and it helps you know, oh, I already have that number, so I better not do it. So if you ever need to kind of see that, just click on one of these move or rotate and it will show you a list of the pictures that you have in your project showing wise. All right, so we're going to grab that one. We can do a constant speed. We can do some curve speed movements. So we could do, let's do a slow end. Those are kind of nice where it goes fast and then slows out at the end. We're going to say the center of the picture again, and then we're going to give it just a little bit more. So let's go 19. Actually, let's just move it to the top of the screen. It'll go out of bounds, but that should be fine. Just see what it looks like. All right, and then we can adjust the width of it. So let's just make it a little smaller and then fade it out just a hair. We can say how long we want it to last. Actually, let's give it a multiply. We want it to last a second and then we want to wait until it's finished. All right, so that means that it will not proceed downward for other events until this is done. Now play test this and watch it. It's going to spawn and then it's going to move. And there it goes. Moved right into that corner and it, whatever I did, I think it was multiply. Yeah. So yeah, that is move. So let's get rid of the move here and let's go to do rotate. Rotate's pretty self-explanatory. You're just basically, really, you only have one option, speed. So let's just make it rotate at 5. And there we go. And it's additive because I had it right here. So let's just put this back on regular. All right, so that's rotate. And then the other options we can do is we can tint. All right, again, we can choose from these. These are kind of preset ones. So we could go dark here, it says. And we can go, let's do 60. 255 is quite a bit. And then let's just see what this looks like. Should just change the color. You can also change a custom color. These are just the preset ones. You can see it just getting a little dark there. And that dark must come with some opacity adjustments, which, yeah, it does. So yeah, you could just set your thing. The cool thing about that it's using Unity is you can select a color picker right here, and you can select anywhere on your screen. So I could say, you know what, I want it to be like this red recorder thing, and then boom, that's the color that you got. All right, and then the last one to really show is pretty self-explanatory again, remove picture, in which you can just select the one to remove. And so this one will actually not show at all because we will spawn it and then remove it. And boom, there, nothing's showing. All right, so that was basically it for how to use pictures in RPG Maker Unite. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments below. We'll get you figured out. That said, I'll see you at the next video.